Good day, welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Fidelia Aguncha. The death toll in Nigeria's meningitis outbreak has now risen to 282. The NCDC says it's now working with the World Health Organization, the UN Children's Fund and Medecins Sans Frontieres, also known as Doctors Without Borders, to try to control the outbreak. In a statement, the National Human Rights Commission (NHRC) expressed concerns about the rising cases of death and ill health following the outbreak of the disease in some parts of the country. The outbreak has now been recorded in places like Zamfara, Katsina, Sokoto, Kebbi, Niger, Kano, as well as the capital city of Abuja. The Nigerian military has admitted that it's yet to capture factional leader of the Boko Haram sect, Abubakar Shekau. The clarification follows comment by Nigeria's Minister of Defense, Mansur Danali, who says Shekau has not been killed by the Nigerian military. The minister's statement contradicts reports from the military saying that Shekau has been killed. Speaking to newsmen on Thursday, military spokesperson Major General John Eneche said the Boko Haram leader is not dead, but on the run.
There were so many Shekau faces. That is it. So we'll get the real thing. That is what was responsible for that. There were so many Shekau faces. That was it. But we are aware and we have now come to know that the real Shekau is yet to be apprehended. So that is the truth. You also agree with me that when Osama bin Laden was killed, they went further to do a DNA test. That I'm aware of. I'm a researcher, so that is the truth of the matter. It's because of the so many faces of Shekau that came up. That was what brought up that mix-up. But it is true that the real Shekau is yet to be gotten, and we will get him.
The United Nations says global food crisis worsened significantly in 2016 and conditions look set to deteriorate further this year in some areas. In a report, the UN also says there is a high risk of famine in some areas of northeast Nigeria, Somalia, South Sudan, and Yemen because of armed conflict, drought, and macroeconomic collapse. It says 180 million people were reported to be facing crisis-level food insecurity or worse in 2016, which means a drastic increase from the previous recorded in last year, which was 80 million. The presidency on Friday said President Muhammadu Buhari will be returning to London very soon for his routine medical checkup. This was announced by the senior special assistant to the president, Garba Shehu, to reporters in Abuja, the nation's capital. Shehu made a clarification to reporters following reports that the president plans to fly his doctors from the UK to the country to treat him. He, however, did not mention when the president will be leaving or how long he would be gone for the checkup. The Nigerian Senate has finally amended the Electoral Act to approve electronic voting in the country. The new law allows the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to deploy the card reader device for voter accreditation. The Senate also addressed the issue on the sudden death of a client before the conclusion of an election. By amending the act, the Senate says parties can now replace a dead candidate by conducting fresh primaries within 14 days. Meanwhile, Nigeria's Presidential Committee on Constitution and Electoral Reforms has held its first public hearing. At the hearing, the chairman of the committee and former Senate President, Ken Nnamani, assured that the committee is committed to the enactment of an acceptable and clearly workable electoral law. He added that he is confident that the new drive will be embraced by all Nigerians.
The date for Nigeria's 2019 democratic election has been fixed. And according to INEC, while the 2019 presidential and National Assembly elections will hold on Saturday, 16 February, the Governorship State Assembly, Federal Capital Territory Area Council elections will hold on Saturday, 2nd March 2019. This news has come as a surprise to many Nigerians who are now calling for an urgent reform of our electoral laws to ensure a smooth and itch-free elections. This is the purpose of this gathering. The Presidential 24-member Committee on Constitution and Electoral Reforms is once again assuring Nigerians of this administration commitment to improve electoral process in the country with clear and citizens-based laws.
Especially the last one.
Chairman of the committee and former Senate President, Ken Nnamani, in his opening address says the committee is working hard and committed to the enactment of an acceptable and clearly workable electoral law and constitution ahead of the general elections.
And the most important difference between this committee and the previous one is the fact that we are to come up with a bill or bills that will go to the National Assembly, and we have the responsibility of following through on those bills and liaising with members of the National Assembly to see that most of the points raised are accepted by them.
The terms of reference of this committee includes the review of the Justice Uwais Electoral Reform Committee report, review of recent judicial decisions on election petitions as they relate to conflicting judgments and absence of consequential orders, as well as the review of the laws impacting on credible election in Nigeria, including relevant provisions of the 1999 Constitution as amended and the Electoral Act 2010 as amended. I wish to promise that we will implement the recommendations from the committee very swiftly as soon as the reports are submitted.
The Nigerian Bar Association in its presentation expressed dissatisfaction with the way previous administration has handled reports of constituted committees, expressing its fears that the same fate may befall this committee.
I was a member of the 1999 Vision 2020, where are the beautiful recommendations. I was a member of the 2014 National Conference that drew the creme de la creme of all Nigerians to Abuja for more than 6 months. Where are the recommendations? Sir, we are just on a merry-go-round. I can assure you, let me predict Nostradamusly, nothing positive will come out of this.
However, while addressing the committee members, the Speaker, House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, represented by Aisha Duku, a member of the House, assured the committee of their overall support, emphasizing that the reports of this committee will get legislative support. Flourish Alonge, TV360, Lagos.
Nigeria's Minister of State for Aviation, Hadi Sirika, has assured that the Abuja International Airport runway will be completed soon. According to the minister, the reconstruction is 57.5% complete. Sirika said work on the runway is also going on simultaneously, adding that the airport will be reopened unfailingly on May 19th. The Nigerian government has asked the Indian government to ensure the immediate arrest and prosecution of those responsible for attacks on Nigerian students in India. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, made the call in Abuja at a meeting with the Indian High Commissioner to Nigeria. The Nigerian government says the call for the prosecution of the culprits was necessary to serve as a deterrent to others and forestall future occurrences.
It is therefore a deep concern to us. The Nigerian students in that part of Uttar Pradesh, Greater Noida, were harassed, they were beaten up, many of them seriously injured, some have been released. And we think this should not happen, given the excellent relations that so happily exist between Nigeria and India. Our two countries have so much in common. As members of the Commonwealth, trade between the two countries are deepening, are increasing. Bilateral relations in other fields, such as people-to-people contact, including in other areas of trade, such as services, agriculture, are also expanding. And therefore, our concern, our wish in this ministry, and by extension of the Nigerian government, is that we shouldn't allow matters like this to stand in the way of consolidating and building these relations. we should take quick actions in such a manner as to prevent incidents like this from occurring.
He held a meeting yesterday with the resident welfare associations and the representatives of the Nigerian and African community yesterday. In this meeting, the African representatives were once again assured of the determination of the district administration in ensuring their safety. He also informed them about the deployment of special forces in the area, which I today see they already stand deployed, where the incidents have taken place to ensure the safety and security of the people. Excellency, as you have mentioned again, the Indian law enforcement agencies have acted swiftly and arrested 5 Indian nationals involved in this incident, and they are still searching for 2 more who are still absconding. And the latest information I have is they are very soon going to be able to nab these 2 others also. More importantly, over 300 people living in the area have been kept under security watch by the police, and the law enforcement agencies are closely monitoring their activities in a regular manner. Excellency, I can only mention that the Ministry of External Affairs and the administration of the state of Uttar Pradesh are closely monitoring the situation and are determined to bring all perpetrators of the deplorable attacks on Nigerian nationals to justice.
Meanwhile, police in India have arrested another suspect linked to the attack on Nigerian and African students in the region. This would be the 6th arrest made in connection to the series of hate crimes against black students in the country. Earlier this week, some Nigerian students were attacked by an angry mob in a mall in Greater Noida. The vicious assault was captured on camera and shared widely on social media. The United Kingdom has deported 23 Nigerians back to the country. The deportees, who are all male, arrived at Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, on Friday morning. They were received by officers of the Nigerian Immigration Service (NIS), the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons (NAPTIP), and the police. Also on ground to receive them were officials of the Federal Airport Authorities of Nigeria (FAN). Nigeria will send its oil governance bill to the Senate for approval on April 25, 2017. This legislation is part of proposed reforms that make up the sprawling petroleum industry bill, which has been in discussion for over a decade and redrafted many times but has yet to be passed into law. Lawmakers are expected to hold talk on the proposed legislation on April 4th before submitting the final report to the Senate on the 25th of April. The Nigerian Army has defended the installment of soldiers at various areas of the country's roads. Speaking to newsmen on Thursday, military spokesperson Major General John Eneche says the roadblocks were put in place to ensure the roads were more secured for all Nigerians. He also added that the location of the blocks were based on intelligence reports.
We have various categories of roadblocks. These ones that you are seeing are referred to as snap roadblocks. And snap roadblocks are always established or put in place based on intelligence. I tell you, if these snap roadblocks are not there based on the intelligence we receive, criminals will have a field day. So that is why you still see all those roadblocks. There are roadblocks of necessity for the protection of lives and property. They are not the static roadblocks that you used to know.
The Defense and Police Wives Association of Nigeria, DEPOA, has organized a training workshop for teachers and instructors in the entire DEPOA network in Abuja. The 2-day event, according to DEPOA President Omobolanle Olonishaki, is essentially to engender human development towards enhancing the standard for national growth. She says the training and retraining of workforce of any organization greatly influences its productivity.
It is very, very important for administrators to train and retrain instructors and teachers, because with this, they will be able to deliver effective and efficient learning to students in school. So it's very, very important to have training like this for teachers.
Hello. Alahaji. Right now I'm in Abuja. No. Hello? Adamu. Right now I'm in Kano. Yes. When I get back, I will just call you.
Look, what is wrong with you? I'm talking on the phone and you are gesticulating and doing. What's wrong with you?
Daddy, where exactly are we as we speak?
Are you alright? This is Lagos.
Well, you just lied to someone that we're in Abuja.
Keep quiet. Who told you you can tell an elderly person is lying?
Daddy, you just lied. And by lying, you are raising corrupt children for the future of Nigeria. That is corruption, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Glad to have you back. Up next is Business with Thelma.
Thanks, Fidelia. South African telecom firm MTN says it has paid 30 billion naira to the federal government in part settlement of a 330 billion naira fine. The fine was imposed on MTN Nigeria for its failure to disconnect unregistered SIM cards as ordered by the Nigerian government. This will be the second payment made by the telecom company, having paid the sum of 80 billion naira in December last year. The fine is due for payment in 6 installments over 3 years. MTN Nigeria was initially fined $5.2 billion last October, but the fine was reduced in a settlement that paved the way for MTN to list its subsidiary on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. The Central Bank of Nigeria has announced that it would increase the amount of forex given to bureau de change operators to $10,000 weekly from $8,000. This comes after directors from the International Monetary Fund praised the Apex Bank for easing foreign exchange restrictions in Nigeria. In a statement signed by the bank, the Apex Bank said it would also announce new rates on Monday, April 3, 2017. Oil prices fell on Friday after a 3-day rally ran out of steam due to a stronger dollar. Brent futures were down 53 cents at $52.43 per barrel, while U.S. crude futures were down 36 cents at $49.99 per barrel. Brent crude futures have made the biggest losses across global asset classes this quarter. In March this year, the contract posted the biggest monthly losses since July, as growing U.S. crude inventories and drilling activity offset production cuts elsewhere in the world. That's it on business. Fidelia will be back with more stories. Don't go away.
Corruption not in my country.
Hello? Yeah, I found your wallet in front of a supermarket. Meet me at Apple Junction. Yes, I'll be waiting for you.
Now we find out. 2 of us.
Thank you very much, officer. You know, it's surprising that men like you still exist in the police force.
Yes, so...
Oh, yes.
This is just a token of my appreciation.
Oh, no. You don't need to do this. We're only doing our job.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
You're welcome.
Now I know police is really my friend.
Yes.
Friend. Hey. Okay, which came up with this one? I don't understand.
You know your problem. You are greedy. I'm a policeman who is doing his job. All forms of corruption in the force, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. President Jacob Zuma faced a growing backlash after his decision to sack Pravin Gordhan, his finance minister, and eight other cabinet members. His decision has threatened the reign of the ruling African National Congress under his leadership. Zuma used the reshuffle to purge growing numbers of his critics, but the move risks triggering a revolt within the ANC that could fracture the party 2 years before the national elections due in 2019. Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa, a front-runner to replace Zuma as ANC president, described the decision as totally unacceptable. However, he ruled out resigning over the issue. U.S. President Donald Trump is ramping up airstrikes in Somalia against Al-Qaeda's third largest affiliate, Al-Shabaab. The new authority ends Obama-era restrictions on drone airstrikes in Somalia. The top U.S. General for Africa told reporters on Friday that he had requested authority to conduct more airstrikes against Al-Shabaab in Somalia. On sports stories now, Nigeria's football chief Amaju Pinnick has confirmed that the country's beach soccer team will begin its preparations for the 2017 Beach Soccer World Cup on Monday. According to Pinnick, the team will jet out to Bahamas on Monday, where it will be camping. However, the team is expected to return to Africa before the tournament begins in April. They have been invited to participate in the 4-team tournament as part of preparations for the World Cup. The 2017 Beach Soccer World Cup is expected to run from April 2017 to May 7, 2017. The Bureau of FIFA Council has recommended that 9 slots be assigned to Africa in the expanded 2026 World Cup. In a statement on Thursday, FIFA also recommended that 16 slots be allocated to UEFA. Asia has been given 8 slots, while South America got 6 slots alongside North America, and Oceania got 1 slot. The final 2 slots will be decided by a playoff tournament involving 6 teams. 4 Russian athletes have been disqualified from participation at the London 2017 Olympics after retests of their samples tested positive to banned substances. However, unlike other athletes who were banned after the retest, the athletes did not win any medals at the game. The International Olympic Committee program of revisiting samples is aimed at using development in testing techniques to expose traces of drugs that were undetectable in 2008 or 2012. Well, that's all on News Now. Thanks for watching. I am Fidelia Aguncha.